let's talk about the African American community. I know for years, I guess, it's just been kind of this a taboo subject in our community of mental health. And I know as of late, it's not as taboo as it was, but there's still, I'm sure there's still plenty of people that kind of like it's like an off limits topic or whatever. And so as we are here today, after everything that's gone on post COVID, all these, well, I don't know if it's post COVID or not, but something like that. Just in this current day and age, what is the current state of mental health as it pertains to African Americans?
So you're absolutely right. Now, there's a little bit less of a stigma when it comes to African Americans or other people from African ancestry seeking mental health support, but it's still there. There's still a huge stigma and a lot of barriers. In addition to that, there historically a lot of African Americans have shied away from seeking not just mental health treatment, but physical health treatment as well because of things that were done that caused them to not trust the medical system, right? And so that has flowed over into the mental health system as well. Also, there's a small number of mental health providers that are African American, and that also makes it a little bit more difficult for a lot of African Americans or other Black people to seek support because the research has shown that generally we, meaning African Americans, typically feel more comfortable and better cared for, and oftentimes are better cared for when we see a provider, a healthcare provider with the same type of background. And so that's been a barrier as well. And there's been an increase in things like suicide, which historically we used to say Black people don't do that, but there has been an increase in those numbers, unfortunately, in the past few years.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I guess, in your opinion, like, what do you think is just the? And I know you mentioned all those factors and those reasons, but like, I wonder just why. I guess is it that we just feel like, is it the pride? Is it just we feel like we don't want to show any weakness or let them know that we struggle that way too, even though we've been through a lot? Is it we're just trying to be strong, or what do you think?
Well, I definitely think it's all of those things. We often perceive it to be a weakness if we're one just talking to anybody about our business, because if you know people's families are like my family, everything is a secret, right? And then if it's something that is maybe problematic, you definitely don't want other people to know, and you don't want uh, a medical or mental health provider to know. So that is a barrier. People Some people just don't believe in mental health treatment. They don't see the benefit. They don't think it's necessary. Oftentimes, I think Black people, particularly in this country, we turn to religion for our support for stress and things that might fall in the realm of mental health. And there's also a body of research that suggests that that can be very helpful. However, you can also add to that. It doesn't have to be religion or church or mental health treatment. You can have both. And historically, I think a lot of Black people have sort of went in that direction when they needed that type of guidance or support.
Yeah, I think I um, heard this before, and I read something about how kind of what you were saying about going to religion, and I think it was because for a long time the church or the pastor in the Black community was like a pillar, like a pastor used to be like a pillar of the Black community,
Mhm.
and you know, and rightfully so, because during those times when we had civil rights not have had our civil rights and had segregation and all those other types of things, and even just going all the way back to slavery and all that stuff, all we had was each other in the church, right? And
Right.
so I think people got, in our community, and I'm far too young, but this is all the things that I hear about and read about.
Mm.
But I guess I can still see some remnant of that. I'm 41, so I'm not a real young, but I guess I'm old enough to see the remnants of how we operate in the Black community and going to the church, and the pastor is the pillar of the community. And you know and it was all about just pray about it, just and like you said, that can be helpful. But I think I've also heard that it can also be harmful as well, because when you try to over spiritualize everything, and some things are and this as being a therapist, some things are maybe more chemical than it is spiritual. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Right. Right. That's why it's important, I think, to have both, right? Because they both have a place for providing support. And if you minimize one, then you might miss a lot of factors that could be contributing to the problem, and therefore not be able to really resolve it, get to the root of what the problem is. If you're saying that this is caused because of X, which is really not X, right? Because you're totally ignoring a lot of other factors that could be contributing to the problem.